Hook before there were gods, before there were kings, before there was even the sky, there was chaos, not darkness, not light, not something you could see or touch, but a boundless, shapeless existence, a universe without order, without time, without destiny. There were no stars to guide the heavens, no earth to walk upon, no life, no death, no meaning. And then, something changed. From the emptiness, the first force emerged. Gaia, the earth, solid, eternal, unmoving, the foundation of everything that would ever exist. Above her rose Uranus, the sky, vast and endless, stretching across her like a crown and a prison. From their union came the first rulers of creation, the Titans. But this was no peaceful beginning, because the first family of the universe was also the first to know fear, jealousy, and violence. A father who hated his own children, a mother who plotted against her husband, a son who would raise a weapon against the one who gave him life. This is the story of how power was born, not through harmony, not through justice, but through rebellion, through betrayal, through war. This is how the gods began. Part 1. The age before the gods. In the beginning, there was no throne of Olympus, no lightning, no kings of heaven. There was only a mother, and her imprisoned children. Gaia, the earth, had brought forth the Titans, beings of immense strength, vast as mountains, ancient as time itself. They should have ruled beside their father, Uranus, the sky, but Uranus feared them. He saw their power. He saw what they might become. And like many rulers after him, he chose control over love. One by one, he forced his children deep into the womb of the earth, burying them alive in darkness. The mountains groaned. The world trembled. Gaia suffered, not as a goddess, but as a mother, and suffering eventually becomes rage. So she devised the first act of rebellion in cosmic history. From the bones of the earth, Gaia forged a weapon, a great, curved sickle. Not for war, for justice. She called upon her children. Most were too afraid to answer, but one stepped forward, Cronus, youngest of the Titans. Cunning, patient, ruthless. He did not challenge his father openly. He waited. He hid. He watched the heavens until the moment Uranus descended to embrace Gaia once more, and then Cronus struck. With one swing of the sickle, he severed the rule of the sky. Power changed hands not with ceremony, but with blood falling into the sea. The age of Uranus ended. The age of the Titans began. Cronus freed his brothers and sisters from their prison. He was hailed as a liberator, a new king, a new hope. But power has a way of changing those who seize it. Cronus took the throne. He married his sister, Rhea, and together they began to create a new generation of gods. Yet a prophecy followed him like a shadow. Just as he had overthrown his father, one of his own children would overthrow him. Cronus remembered the fear of Uranus, and slowly, he became it. Each time Rhea gave birth, Cronus took the child in his hands, and swallowed it whole. No burial, no mercy, no future. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, all consumed, all erased. Rhea watched her children vanish into the darkness of their father's stomach. And the world, once again, stood on the edge of despair. But this time, a mother would not remain silent, because the next child she carried would not be sacrificed. He would be hidden, and his name would be Zeus. Part 2. The Fall of the Titans. The war did not end with a single strike. It ended with collapse. Thunder rolled across existence as Zeus hurled the first of his lightning bolts, not as a weapon alone, but as a declaration. The old world was finished. The Cyclopes forged storms. The 100-handed giants hurled entire mountains as if they were stones. The heavens burned. The earth split. The seas raged as though creation itself could not decide whom it belonged to. Cronus and the Titans fought with the strength of primordial forces, but they fought like rulers trying to hold power. Zeus and his allies fought like those destined to claim it, and destiny is far more dangerous than strength. At last, the final clash came. Lightning shattered the sky. The giants overwhelmed the Titan defenses. Poseidon's power crushed the foundations of the world. Hades moved unseen, striking from shadow. One by one, the Titans fell. Cronus, the devourer of his children, was dragged from his throne, not slain, but defeated, forced to witness the end of his reign, for death would have been mercy. Instead, Zeus cast the Titans into Tartarus, a prison buried deeper than the roots of the earth, a place so far below the world that even memory struggles to reach it. There they would remain. Not rulers. Not gods, but warnings. The gates of Tartarus were sealed. The 100-handed giant stood guard. And silence returned to the universe. For the first time since chaos, there was order. The long age of fear had ended. The rule of the young gods had begun, but victory brought a new question. Who would rule now? Because the universe was too vast for one throne, Zeus did not stand alone. Beside him were his brothers, Poseidon, lord of the raging seas, and Hades, master of the unseen dead. They had fought together. Now they had to decide how to reign together, so they did something no Titan had ever done. They drew lots, not to fight for power, but to divide the cosmos itself, and with that decision, the structure of the world as we know it was finally set into motion. Part 3. The Rise of Olympus. The Titans were gone, their thunder had faded. Their dominion, shattered. Their names, buried in the depths of Tartarus. But victory did not mean peace. The universe was still wild. Still untamed. Still waiting for rulers who could command not just power, but order. Zeus stood at the center of it all, no longer the hidden child of Crete, but the conqueror of the old world. Yet even he understood a truth his father never had. Power could not survive if it was hoarded. It had to be shared. So Zeus gathered his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, the three who had defied fate itself. Together, they stood over creation and cast lots to divide existence. Not land. Not kingdoms, but reality itself. Zeus drew the sky, the endless heavens, the clouds, the storms, the law that governs gods and mortals alike. Poseidon claimed the sea, all waters, from the calmest shore to the most violent abyss. Earthquakes answered to his anger. Horses, waves, and tempests carried his will. Hades received the underworld, not a realm of evil, but of inevitability. The silent dominion of the dead, where every soul must one day arrive. The earth itself would belong to none of them, left open to gods and mortals alike. And so balance was born. From that moment on, the three brothers did not rule as conquerors, they ruled as forces of nature. But Zeus was king, high above the world. He established his throne upon a sacred mountain, a place untouched by decay, hidden above clouds and time, Olympus. There, the new gods gathered. Not ancient like the Titans. Not monstrous. But powerful in ways the universe had never seen before. These were gods who resembled those they governed. Gods who loved. Who argued. Who desired. Who made mistakes. Gods who were, in many ways, terribly human. Zeus ruled with a thunderbolt in hand, a symbol not just of destruction, but of authority. The eagle became his watcher. The storm, his voice. He governed justice. Hospitality. Oaths between strangers. To honor a guest was to honor Zeus himself. To betray one was to invite divine punishment. Yet even the king of gods was not free from flaw. For all his wisdom, Zeus carried an insatiable desire for love, for admiration, for conquest of another kind. From his union with Hera came Ares and Hephaestus. From countless other unions came gods, heroes, and tragedies that would shape myth for ages. Olympus was not a place of quiet perfection. It was alive with rivalry, jealousy, passion, schemes. Hera's vengeance, Athena's wisdom, Ares' brutality, Aphrodite's irresistible charm, Apollo's light, Artemis' hunt, Hermes' cunning, Demeter's grief, Dionysus' ecstasy, Hephaestus' fire and creation. Each god embodied a force of existence. Each carried both brilliance and danger. Together, they did not just rule the world, they explained it. The lightning, the harvest, the sea storms, the changing seasons, love, madness, war, death. To the ancient Greeks, they were not accidents, they were decisions. Because their gods were not distant creators, they were participants in the chaos of life. And so began the age of Olympus, an era not of primordial monsters, but of divine personalities whose stories would intertwine with mortals, heroes, and destinies yet to unfold. The universe had moved from chaos, to titans, to gods, but the struggle for power, for meaning, for control, that would never end. Part 4. The gods become human. Olympus was not silent. It was never meant to be. Unlike the Titans, who ruled like distant forces of nature, the Olympians lived like a family, and families are rarely peaceful. At the center of this tension stood Hera, queen of the gods. She was the guardian of marriage, the protector of women, the symbol of loyalty. And yet, she was married to Zeus, a king whose desires knew no restraint. Every betrayal of Zeus was not just an insult to their union, but a wound to the very law Hera represented. And so her anger was legendary. She did not strike Zeus. She struck those he loved. Women were cursed. Children were hunted. Entire lives were twisted by her vengeance, not out of cruelty alone, but out of wounded pride. Olympus, for all its glory, had become a court of rivalries. Then there was Athena, born not from a mother's embrace, but from Zeus himself. When a prophecy warned that Zeus' child would surpass him, he swallowed the unborn child's mother to prevent it. But fate cannot be consumed. One day, Zeus felt a pain unlike any other, a splitting agony in his head. And when it could no longer be contained, his skull was struck open. From it leapt Athena, fully grown, armored, unshaken. She was not chaos like Ares. She was not passion like Aphrodite. She was strategy, wisdom, discipline, the kind of power that wins wars before they are even fought. If Ares represented the madness of battle, Athena represented the mind that controls it, and the two despised each other. Ares, the embodiment of bloodlust, thrived in destruction. He did not care who won, only that war raged. Gods mistrusted him. Mortals feared him. Even Zeus found little pride in him, because ours was war at its ugliest. But Olympus was not only conflict. It was also desire. Aphrodite moved through the heavens with effortless influence. She needed no weapon, no throne. Her power was attraction itself. Gods and mortals alike bent to it. Love, obsession, jealousy, longing. These were her instruments, and even the wisest were not immune. Not Hephaestus, her husband, the master craftsman of Olympus. He, who forged palaces, armor, and wonders beyond imagination, could shape metal, but could not shape love. When Aphrodite betrayed him with Ares, Hephaestus did not answer with rage. He answered with invention, an invisible net. Unbreakable, precise. He trapped them together, exposed before the laughter of Olympus, because even gods could be humiliated, even gods could fail. And so Olympus became something entirely new, not a realm of perfect beings, but a mirror of the world below. There was music and prophecy through Apollo, wild freedom in Artemis, mischief and movement in Hermes, harvest and sorrow in Demeter, ecstasy and madness in Dionysus. Each god ruled a piece of existence. Each emotion, each struggle, each joy. The Greeks did not see their gods as unreachable ideals. They saw them as reflections of love, of anger, of ambition, of weakness. Olympus was not heaven, it was humanity, made immortal. And as the gods shaped the lives of mortals, the mortals, in turn, gave the gods their stories. Stories of heroes, of punishments, of pride, of tragic destiny. Because the age of gods was not just about ruling the world, it was about interfering with it.